What's up, everybody? It is your host, Shoop, back with another sports betting video, and it is NFL Wildcard Weekend. We have made it to the NFL playoffs, everyone, and I know that you guys are looking to place down some bets on the game. So this is exactly what we're going to do today. We're going to look at the two Saturday wildcard matchups, Browns-Texans, Dolphins-Chiefs, and we're going to find some good bets for both of them. So stick around because I'm going to show you exactly what I do to find good bets, and you can follow along with me. And you can use this strategy on your own. So the bets that I place at this very moment probably won't be available to you by the time that you're watching this. They might, but what you can do is you can use the principles in this video of what I'm showing you to find good bets for your own. So I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to go over a few things really quick. So the tools that I'm going to be using today, so as we jump into the Inception screen, the tools that I'm going to be using today are going to be Pinnacle, which is our market-making sportsbook. We're going to use OddsJam, which is a tool that I pay for. And it's a software that finds the best bets for you as a sports bettor and also compares all bets from across all sportsbooks. And then we got FanDuel, BetMGM, Superbook, three books that I use the most, our no-vig fair odds calculator, and our expected value calculator. So let's jump in. So here we have the money line for the Browns versus Texans, and we can see what they are across all sportsbooks. And as you can see, it's pretty similar. The market has a consensus essentially on what the line should be. It's about minus 135 to 115. You can get a slightly better bet on FanDuel with minus 134, and you wouldn't want to bet the Texans on there because you can get better odds at BetMGM. But as you see, the market has a consensus on what the line should be. So when people ask me, what is your bet between Browns versus Texans? I tell them neither, because the market has already decided what the line should be. And essentially, I'm just throwing a coin into a wishing well and hoping for the best if I pick one of these sides. I don't try to predict the future. I simply try to find advantages within the sports betting market. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to jump into player props and touchdown scores and first half spreads, among other things. I'm going to be finding bets from there that are profitable. So let's start with Browns Texans. And let's go into anytime touchdown score because we love touchdown bets. They're easiest to follow, easiest to track. And we can see across the landscape all the different odds that these books have posted. A lot of them are similar. We're not looking at long shots here. We're trying to find outlier bets. And if we scroll all the way towards the bottom, we see something very interesting here. So on BetMGM, FanDuel, or BetMGM, DraftKings, Superbook, all of them have Nico Collins to score a touchdown at plus 110. But FanDuel sticks out like a sore thumb here. They're pricing it at plus 160. So we go to FanDuel. We go to anytime touchdown score. Let's see if that bet is still there. It is. Nico Collins to score a touchdown at plus 160. Now, why is this a good bet? Well, we know for a fact that the odds that they give us on FanDuel are beating the average by almost 37 points. And we know that the market has a consensus that this line should be about plus 110 based on what these sports books tell us. So we're for certain not betting at any of these sports books, but on FanDuel we will. But we're not going to go crazy with this because on Pinnacle, they have his odds to score a touchdown at plus 146. Now, if we take the VIG out of this bet, we can see that with the fair odds, it does plus 160 doesn't beat plus 165. What this screen is doing is telling us what the fair price would be if the sportsbook wasn't trying to profit off of you. Essentially, if they're just making it 50-50 odds proposition, you bet 10, I win 10, you lose, we win 10. That's how it works on here. But it is going to be worth sprinkling a little bit of money on this. just because of how different the odds are from the rest of the sports books. So there we go. We're going to go and place $10 on that. But what you can do is you can go to the touchdown scorers on each page, and you can compare lines between all of your sports books. And then you can see, and then you can see exactly, what each sports book is pricing their bets at. Let's look at a different example. So I found this one earlier today. So we're going to go to player passing yards. Now, Joe Flacco has been on fire recently, and his line is almost at 275 yards. As you see, FanDuel has his line set at 275.5. But BetMGM has his line set at 271.5 at -115 and -115. DraftKings has his line set at -145 for that same over. So we can assume this is a pretty good bet. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to BetMGM, we're going to find this bet, and we're going to place it for $50, essentially 1 unit, if it will let me place it. If it doesn't let me place it, then it is what it is. There we go. 50. We're going to place this bet. There we go. And then we will add this to the bet tracker. And if you go to Joe Flacco on the Pinnacle page, the market tells us that his over should be about -129. That's the fair price. If you take the VIG out of it, it should be about -112. But because of how much better odds we're getting on the rest of the market on this bet, we can assume this is pretty good. So we're going to take this for $50. So there we go. We have 2 bets on this Browns-Texans game. And now what we're going to do is we're going to head on over to the Dolphins versus the Chiefs. And we're going to find some good bets. As you see, once again, FanDuel actually has the Chiefs priced pretty good at -230, but it's too big of a favorite for me to want to actually bet that. So we're again going to look at our anytime touchdown scorer screens. And we're going to compare FanDuel and BetMGM because Superbook doesn't have odds. And I don't have DraftKings loaded because DraftKings is just being weird with me today. But the first thing that stands out to me is Devon Achane at +185. We're going to go over to Pinnacle real quick, and we're going to see what they think his odds of scoring a TD are. Now, they think it's at +178. So it's not the greatest, but we see that the other sportsbooks have it at +150. So we're going to go over to Dolphins versus Chiefs. We're going to find Achane, and we're going to place him for $10. Now, this bet also makes sense from a logical standpoint. It's going to be a cold weather game. They're going to be running the football a lot. So we expect to see the running backs get some touches in the red zone. So I like that bet there. And, for Raheem Mostert, 150 stands out versus BetMGM. But because DraftKings has the same odds, we can just infer it. The market has a good consensus on what the line should be. So we have a couple more that I want to look at. We're going to look at Rashee Rice, Travis Kelce, and Tyreek Hill. Travis Kelce's odds to score a touchdown on Pinnacle are +106 and -142. So if we put that in the no-vig odds calculator, we see that his odds to score a touchdown should be about +120. But we can get it on FanDuel at +135. So I'm going to wager a bit more on this. I'm going to wager 50 for Kelce to score a touchdown. So there we go. Kelce for 50. That should be a pretty good bet. Now we got Tyreek Hill and Rice. Rashee Rice, he's right here. His odds to score a touchdown are +171 versus 165. So I already have Kelce to score. I'm not going to touch this one. Let's look at Tyreek. Oh, not Shriek, but Tyreek. But his odds to score a touchdown are +127, -173. We're going to plug in those odds. real quick. And we see that his Novig odds are plus 143, but we can get it at FanDuel for plus 155. So this is another good bet. I'm going to hit this one for about $35. So all I'm doing is I'm trying to find outlier bets among the sports books, and I'm placing those bets if I have an advantage. I'm not trying to work my brain through it like, is he going to score? Do I feel it today? No, I'm just going strictly off the data. Last but not least, what we can do is let's find another outlier bet. So we can go to receptions totals. Receptions totals, a lot of times these will stick out as well. So we look throughout these bets. This one is interesting right here. Justin Watson. Justin Watson's over 1.5 is at plus 100. The other books have it at minus 120 and minus 110. So if we look at Justin Watson, his chances of hitting over, it's minus 112, minus 118. It's good, but it's not good enough for me to bet it. What about Mecole Hardman? His is at minus 128 compared to minus 140 and minus 150. There we go. So we got minus 150 and 112. If we plug that into the Novig odds calculator, we see it's around what it should be. So I like both those bets, but I'm not going to place them. I just don't have enough of an advantage on them. But we can keep scouting and keep looking for advantages. So here we go. Travis Kelce. We already have his touchdown over, but now his receptions over 5.5. It's at plus 100 on BetMGM, and on FanDuel and DraftKings at minus 113, minus 110. So we look at his receptions over, and we see same thing as Watson, minus 112, minus 118. So we have somewhat of an advantage, but not enough for me to actually want to place it. But if you did want to place it, you certainly want to be placing this bet at BetMGM and not FanDuel. So at the very least, you should be odd shopping. But what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to find an advantage over the rest of the market. It's essentially like stock trading. You know, if you find a price on a stock and it's at a price that you would buy it, you're going to buy it, right? If it's at a price and you don't like that price, you probably wait for it to go lower. You know, so we're going to keep looking. If it lets us, because sometimes this page will be slow to load, but you know, total points. You see main line, 43.5 is a consensus. You get a good deal on the under at FanDuel, but it's still not enough for me to bet it. But as you see, if you look throughout the rest of this, you'll see we'll start to see some much better bets. I'm interested in this under 40.5 over on SI Sportsbook. So if we go to the main page, we see it only goes up to 41. So I don't have any data to go off of for this, so I'm just going to avoid betting that. But essentially, we're just going to stop sharing the screen from here, and we're just going to talk for a little bit about what I did here. So I compared lines throughout the sportsbook. I looked at what Pinnacle, the market-making sportsbook, I looked at what they price their odds at, and then I make an informed decision. Is this a good bet? Is this a market outlier? Do I get good odds on this play versus other potential plays? And then I'll decide whether to make that play from there. And the amount I bet is based on the confidence I have, based on what the market tells me, what the actual odds of the bet winning are, and just overall just making a decision on the market. But I'm not going based off of feel. You know, I'm not going based off statistics. And the reason I'm not going off of statistics is because we all have access to the same statistics out there. So that isn't what moves lines. That isn't how the sportsbook decides spreads. It's based on sharp action. Someone out there has looked at this play, has used their analytics, and has made a play already, and the sportsbook has moved the line accordingly. So this is how I want you guys to start making bets for today. At the very least, what you should be doing is have 2 sportsbooks available. Compare lines between both. And if you like a play, see where you can get better odds at. That's how you win in the long run, and that's how you win more bets, because those dollars, they will add up. But anyway, thank you for watching today. This is Shoop Sports. I hope you like this video, and I'm signing out.